YouTube, hello. Hope you guys are doing well. We are live. All right. Guys, any questions on show notes or anything like that?
I have to vote for the musher. I can't vote for the dogs.
If you can find a list of the dogs, you can.
Yeah, I don't.
But we couldn't
There's
find it.
too many dogs, Josh. It's like 16 dogs.
Yeah.
I'm sure they have names, but they're not listed. I'm clicking on people's profiles and they don't name their dogs.
Stupid. Why do they even compete?
Yeah.
They have a list of their sponsors,
I'm not here to
though.
see some
Jerks.
Check. That didn't work. I love how the people that are dedicated to watching the show on YouTube, they probably just automatically every stream just skip like 5 minutes ahead.
If they're dedicated, it's in spite of the first 5 minutes of every single stream.
Right. But thanks for being here. If you are here, let us know. Say hi. We'll say hi back.
Ooh.
I'll try to remember to look at chat. All right. Guys, I think I'm good. If you are, I'm going to hit record.
Oh, yeah, let me hit record.
I am good.
Sweet.
Recording.
Here we go.
That's the wrong...
Welcome to the Fifth and Goal Sports Podcast. Now, here are your hosts, Aaron, Josh, and Johnny.
Welcome to the show. It's good to have you here. Well, big show because it's the start of March. In fact, it's a specific day in March.
Yes, it is.
It's March 3rd, which means it's Johnny's
Almost
birthday.
the Ides.
It's
Well,
almost
that's
the
too.
Ides of
But
March.
Johnny, happy birthday, man.
Happy birthday,
Thank you.
Johnny.
We got to celebrate a little bit on Saturday. We froze our butts off in Ohio Stadium. Worth it. Great time had by not all, because there were several Red Wings fans, but a good time had by most. We'll talk about that in a minute. But Johnny, that was a good time. Overall, March is here. College basketball. I mean, it's busy, man.
We're almost there.
Yeah.
No, we're not almost there. We're there.
Well, true.
As of yesterday.
Yes.
As of yesterday, given even the regular season college basketball realized instantaneously, the calendar has changed. We've had buzzer beaters and craziness already. There's always just this understanding.
Yeah, immediately it just went into full panic mode, which is good because there's a lot of teams, and we'll probably get into this. There's a lot of teams vying for not very many spots right now. So that's also on the way. Josh, what's up, man? How you doing?
Sorry, I got distracted. We'll get into this later, but I found the perfect name for Picks of the Week.
Oh, okay. That's
All
exciting.
right, you guys just saw it. So I'm doing great. I had a fun weekend. Went down to Austin to
Boo the soccer team.
boo the soccer
tell
team.
them they're the worst.
As is tradition. Went to go see my grandfather, had his birthday party. It was a great time. It was 80, which is not too cold,
No,
I suppose. And then we ended the night by watching.
we could not have had different experiences this weekend,
I was
Josh.
gonna say, because
We could not have been more different.
We then watched the Blue Jackets versus
Oh, nice.
the team that I'm not really in the mood to even mention, but I suppose Red Wings will do for now.
Yeah.
And near the end of the second period, I looked down to pet a dog, and then someone scored. And I went, oh, dang, missed it. And then I looked down again for a separate reason, and then they scored again, and I missed it, and it's okay.
You should have learned.
I should have learned.
That's a pretty
on
accurate
me.
description of how that game went, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I watched a little bit of it back, but I was curious because it's always like one of those weird things, like how does it look on TV? Because I thought it looked fine. Like sometimes it looks really weird and like really empty because the ice rink's smaller than the field, so the fans are far away. I don't know, Josh. I mean, you watched it on TV. Like, did it look weird to you, or did it look like every other? Because at this point, there's been a lot. Did it look like every other outdoor game we've had?
It seemed fine.
Okay.
I mean, given that it was in a stadium that was originally designed not to handle hockey,
Right.
it didn't seem awkward to me.
Okay. Great. Yeah, I mean, Johnny, we were
I'm
like,
always a fan of, especially I will say the only thing with hockey is that it's the one where you want like basically a mosh pit around the entirety of the ice. And so
Yeah.
that part I missed a little bit, but I understand why. But yeah, if they would have had like some standing room only right around where it's just people shoving themselves into the glass, that was my only gripe.
Well, you know, they don't even put the netting up though, Josh.
See, it's the perfect. This is the best situation. The
No,
rules just right.
no, that puck went out plenty of times. It
You
was
duck.
good that no one was
Listen,
standing
Johnny,
there.
Have you ever watched?
You duck
like,
so the person
European-
behind you gets
You ever
hit.
see like these Euro rallies? These guys are they're on the dirt as the car's going by at 100 miles an hour. Like they can touch the mirror. All right. Hockey fans, just duck. It's fine.
That would be an applicable comparison if it was a sport like
Yeah,
hockey,
just do a little
but
whoop.
I appreciate the attempt, Josh.
You just gotta, whoop, and it's fine. Easy.
Josh, I'm here to tell you that that take is not the worst take on hockey we're going to hear tonight. Because, against my better judgment, because this take that I'm about to play for you is so bad that
Oh,
it does
yeah.
not deserve, it's not worthy enough of our airwaves. And you've heard some terrible stuff on our airwaves. It's worse than that from the three of us. So
Well, here's
here,
the thing: we joke and we are self-admitted idiots.
well, true.
What you're about to hear is someone who's speaking in earnest.
Yes. Yes, he is. Here is our here he is.
Our friend.
Game's just too hard to play. I mean, you got humans on ice skates, on ice with sticks, trying to handle a puck that reaches speeds of over 100 miles an hour flying across the ice. It's like one long, continuous mistake.
Now, some people have said that about our show, but they've never said it about hockey. Skip Bayless, you know what I think when I hear that phrase come
You
out
don't
of
have
your
to
mouth?
pay for us.
That's right. This is what's running in my head while he's speaking. Yeah, that's what I hear from Skip Bayless. That's the most insane. And this happened like, I think, Johnny, we saw this take like while we were in the stadium watching this, and we just were aghast.
It's such a weird way to say I have terrible hand-eye coordination and have for a long time.
Yeah. Or also, my vision might be terrible.
I don't think Skip played even sports. I don't know.
No,
but,
there's no
yeah.
way. Not well.
Not
I mean, you see the way he's stanced up in his Michael Jordan. That no way.
it does not
Can't
it does not
lose,
ball.
Aaron.
Oh my
Can't
gosh.
lose.
Unable to ball.
Well, Johnny, I'll go over to you.
I've done
I'm
listen, I've not played full speed hockey in the sense of gone anywhere close to like even like a B team intramural.
Sure.
But I did a little bit like when we went to the Chiller in Columbus.
Yeah.
Like we would go there and there would be like some pickup stuff there. And I'm not great, but I know where the puck is.
Mm-hmm.
It's not Skip, have you been on the ice? Have you ice skated before? It's not
I love that.
not that bad.
I love that
It's
his
not
take is like it's too hard. Exactly.
yeah.
That's why it's
Right.
so
Guess what?
great.
There's like 7 guys
Ugh.
at any one time who are fantastic at it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's insane.
Hitting a baseball is basically impossible.
Right.
But
Yes.
people don't watch baseball and like, you know what?
It's too hard.
No more. Like we have to change
It's-
it.
The ball's
We're gonna
too
make them
fast.
all
Actually, no, they're-
softballs
well,
now.
they're
All
you
softballs,
can't
slow
joke,
pitch
Johnny, because
softball.
we are in a pitcher's game right now, so we got to be careful. Softball would work. What if we just switch it over to MLKB?
No,
Major League
that was
Kickball?
not legitimate. No,
Major
Yeah.
League Kickball.
We played that for laughs and giggles, not for an actual debate, because there's anyways.
there's no debate.
There's no
no
debate.
disagreement.
Johnny, what'd you think at being at the game? Because there was a lot of like stuff pregame too that we got to do, which was a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
Well, I got to hold a hockey stick basically for the first time ever.
Which is
Maybe
crazy.
I have like in a Dick's Sporting Goods or something before, but I've never actually like utilized a hockey stick before. So there were like some shooting challenges and a fan fest and everything. Super fun. Yeah, me and Aaron were freezing, but also like it's a hockey game.
Yep.
It kind of felt correct for it to be freezing cold, you know? And there's no bad weather, just bad clothing.
That's
now,
true. Now there is bad
it
weather because
was-
110 degrees, there is no clothing that helps.
fair enough.
But other
is
than
true.
that, yes, you're right. You're right, Johnny.
That's more usually talking about cold, but yes. It was kind of alarming in a way to not see like Ohio State gear everywhere and be in the horseshoe. That was just like my brain was unsettled by that. I've never been in the horseshoe for not a Buckeye game.
Well, we're walking
so
in
that was
to the stadium and there's tailgating. And I know it's March. And I'm like, Johnny, I feel like I stepped into a time machine and went like 5 months reverse.
yeah.
Real weird.
You're right, because we could have had that temperature like late fall for
Yeah.
sure in Ohio, like October, November, easily. But it was just strange in that situation, but it was insane. It was so much fun. It was so cool to see. You know, Columbus does have this earned inferiority complex when it comes to our professional teams, specifically with the Blue Jackets. And a lot of that's just because the only thing worse than just being bad is being irrelevant. And I love the Blue Jackets, but they've been irrelevant for the majority of their entire existence. So it was, and I'm sure every fan felt this way. And maybe the players and the coaching staff too. It was incredibly cool to see that the hockey universe focused in on Columbus for a hockey game.
Yeah.
For one night. And that was really, really cool. And then, you know, you add to that, you know, the tragedy of the Gaudreau brothers and their family coming out and leading the teams out onto the ice. So cool. You know, you have like 21 Pilots local band
Yeah, that's cool.
doing one of the intermissions. Like that's like they really played up the Ohio Columbus roots. And the game lived up to it. You know, like sometimes you can do all of that and you're like, oh yeah, like cool experience. And the game's a dud and you can't control that. Incredible game, really highs and lows. And honestly, like just how the ice, like how the game played, like Elvis Merce-Lincoln's in goal for the Blue Jackets stole the game from the Red Wings with how he played in net. So obviously that's the outcome we wanted. But the experience as a whole was just something I'll remember for a long time. That was really, really amazing to see. And I mean, the NHL couldn't have asked for a better timed matchup too, with what the game meant for both teams.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. Columbus moving into the first wild card spot. Detroit, that's who they were competing against, Detroit in the number 2 spot. Both teams are trying to catch ground on their respective third place teams in their division. To address maybe the elephant in the room, yeah, I do think it was a high stick on what was eventually the game-winning
I don't
goal.
know what you're talking about.
But I will admit that's a high stick. I will also say that, to your point, Johnny, the Blue Jackets have the inferiority complex partially because that kind of stuff always goes against us. So yes, I understand if you're upset if you're Detroit, but I'll take it as a Blue Jackets fan. Also, if you're Detroit, you had like 46 shots. The Red Wings had as many shots in the third period as the Blue Jackets did in the entire game. So yes, you can be upset about that call, but I'd probably be more upset about the fact that you couldn't find the back of the net, and also your goaltender gave up some soft goals in this game. So and Thursday for that matter too, because they had him in goal Thursday when the two teams played as well. So I echo all that. Josh, we've played music together. The one thing that I've never done is jumped off of the piano to start our set, and that feels like a missed opportunity. Yet, exactly. Yes.
The new keyboard stand I got at church, it holds, I believe, 180 pounds.
Okay. So I need to do some
more.
Not eating a plate of Panda Express right before
Aaron,
the game.
You and I both know.
Well, that's
say
true.
that for legal reasons. There's
That's-
probably a little bit of wiggle room.
You're
I
right.
think you'd be okay.
Yep.
And so
Good point.
next time you come down, that's how we start our church service. Everyone would love it. It would go over so well.
I love it. I'm going to try it. Well, we just got a new keyboard at church. So that was the best opportunity.
Can we do keyboard nerd talk? What y'all get?
We got I think we got a stage 4 off the floor of anyways, that's a different podcast.
Oh.
But yeah.
Yes.
Yes, very excited about
I
that.
only have used Kurzweil money.
Oh.
Enjoy that stage 4. I went the other day and went, oh, that's 2/3 my budget for the year. Never mind.
Yeah, I understand.
I do apologize. I did take a friend last week to the Steinway Gallery, and I should have taken you the last time that you were in town. So there was only like 40. There was like 40 Model Bs in there. It's okay. Sorry about that.
That's okay. We had to go to CC's Pizza, so we had
we went to CC's
you know what? Our
Pizza
priorities
instead.
were correct. Yeah.
Exactly. That's true.
Yeah. Well, that's
CC's
hockey.
over these keys. Am I right?
Oh, got him.
Why can't I do like this is why I don't do sports takes, folks. It's because I'm fully committed to only doing puns in the moment. I have no other brain power for actual coherent sports takes.
Josh, I was looking for a sound effect that was like an applause or like a laugh to your joke. I only have this. So that'll have to work. Not the same thing. Well, that's your hockey talk for this episode, not because we're not excited about hockey. We are, especially this year, because of how well the Blue Jackets are playing. But it is March, and conference tournaments have started. The Atlantic Sun tournament actually resumes for us in like 20 minutes. Had some good first round action. There are 3 more tournaments, again, as we're recording, starting tomorrow. We've got brackets for everything that's available basically right now on our website, fifthandgoalsports.com. If you want to get really specific, fifthandgoalsports.com/conference tourneys. That'll take you to our usual brackets you can print out, you can view, you can do whatever you want. They're there, they're free, they're all as nice as I can make them. Then the Big South came out with a beautiful bracket with like mountains in the background, and I'm like, dang, I got to step up my game. So good on you, Big South, because all these other conferences putting out like basically the equivalent of like a Wikipedia page graphic. I'm like, come on, we can do better than this. The Big South did, so good on the Big South. All that to say, we will be talking about conference tournaments probably more next week because we're going to have a lot more games under our belt. As we're sitting here tonight, we have a whopping total of 2 that have happened. So for that, Johnny, I turn it over to you because this is the last week of the regular season. We've had buzzer beaters, we've had upsets, we had whatever you want to call Arkansas on Saturday. That is this. That was what that was. Anyways.
Yeah, we were staring at, naturally they were part of one of my parlays, and I just was staring at the score while we're at FanFest like, that's not possible that they only have 16 points at half. Like, is that possible? It was something like that. And anyway, yeah, absolutely absurd for a team that needs every win possible and can't afford a devastating loss like that. And that was their worst loss of the season, potentially.
Yeah.
So, like, against not a good South Carolina team. So that's not good. So a couple themes. First off, I'd like to say, Aaron mentioned conference tournament. Friendly reminder, watch those tournaments. Those are, I mean, this is the beginning of March Madness. I know we talk about the NCAA tournament. People talk about expanding it. No, like, it's like the college football regular season. This is part of the playoff. Teams are being eliminated from the tournament right now. Pretty much every team gets a chance to still make the NCAA tournament this time of year. And now you're getting eliminated. So just a reminder for that. And pick teams to win arbitrarily in those conferences based on color, mascot, logo, name. And you can't steer wrong. Cheer for them arbitrarily. Yep. That is my tidbit for you guys. Back to actual seeding wise. You know, we'll talk a little bit more about when that bracket actually comes out. Man, is there such a strong 3 teams at the top. Auburn, Duke, and Houston. I know many didn't have Houston as a 1 seed until this week. I have no understanding of that. I have them firmly as a 1 seed. It would take so much for any of those 3 to drop out of the 1 seed conversation for me. And that last 1 seed, there is a fight for it between Florida, Alabama, Michigan State, Tennessee, and St. John's. There's a drop off after there that I would be surprised if it was another team, but that's a lot of teams for the 1 seed there fighting. Now, the good thing is all the teams that I just mentioned, there's enough of them, just the right amount, that the rest of them who don't get the 1 seed will be 2s. So you're going to have some strong 1-2s when the seedings come out in the tournament. Now, let's kind of go further down the seed list. One of the intriguing things, and it seems like this conference is always headlining the bubble region, the Mountain West. The Mountain West is cannibalizing itself here late in the season. And part of that is you have a team like Colorado State, 20-9. They're on my next 4 out right now, but they have a couple of really big upset wins against San Diego State and Utah State that have happened recently, which has dropped San Diego State and Utah State down closer to the bubble. I have Utah State as a next 4 team in right now. And I have Boise State and San Diego State and New Mexico just beyond there. Right now, New Mexico's leading the way in the conference. I think they're pretty safe. They're not quite a lock yet. But San Diego State and Boise State could easily drop down, and so could Utah State. So our friends in the Mountain West always seem to be right there, perched on the bubble. It was a big talking point last year about why did we put all these Mountain West teams in, and they didn't do well in the tournament. So just be watching those teams as they're going to have to play each other. So those will be crucial games down the stretch. More to the bubble itself. For my next 4 in, and I'll go in order, I have Drake, who's done nothing wrong. I just have UC San Diego slightly above them right now, Utah State, VCU, and then here's where all the debate comes in. Xavier, I have as the next 4 team in, and then Baylor, North Carolina, Indiana, and Georgia as my last 4 in currently. And then after that, I have as my first 4 out, Ohio State, first team out. West Virginia, that's a big polarizing one. A lot of people have them fairly securely in. Arkansas, who I had in, lost, dropped out. Nebraska, and then next 4 out, Villanova, Colorado State, Cincinnati, and Wake Forest. So a lot of fun going on here because I mentioned Mountain West is all going to be playing each other. Ohio State plays Nebraska tomorrow on Tuesday, and then they go to Bloomington on Saturday. So massive games for those 3 teams. They're all playing each other. I mean, I have them within 6 spots of one another, but really I couldn't argue with a ton of people if you rotated much of those last 5 teams in, first 5 teams out. If you switched them around, I couldn't argue with you a ton. They're razor thin margins right now. So wins like that, where you could have a potential head-to-head over teams that you're matching up with, are huge. So yeah, that's kind of where we're looking at with bubble right now. A lot going on. A lot of these teams facing each other. Georgia knocked off Florida this weekend. That was just such a huge win for them. That puts them as the final team in the field for me. So you watch, like, there's always teams that are precipitously tanking and teams that are on a rocket ship out of nowhere coming to make that field here at the end. And that team fading quickly is Baylor. And that team rising here lately, nobody really paying attention to, is actually Indiana. So yeah. I have them in right now. They've actually won several, like most of their last games in a row here, and they're looking really, really strong.
I think we talked about, well, me specifically, I talked about Ohio State being dead last week, and they may still be dead depending on how they fare in those 2 games. The best thing Ohio State did this week was only play once, because the bubble disintegrated around them in a positive way, most likely for the Buckeyes. And obviously they got the win at USC. That was significant. But they only played once. That was maybe their biggest benefit. Yeah, because
even the teams that I said are like doing well right now, like Georgia still went 1-1 this week. Mm-hmm. Like they still didn't nobody's going on this huge winning streak right now to save themselves. So, I mean, that's why I said you can kind of draw a line after VCU, and like VCU and up is safe pretty much on my seed list. Safe might be too nice of a word. That's why I don't have them as a lock. But lock total right now, I have 32 spots locked down right now. So there's not much left to go with these teams.
No,
and
there's
if
not.
you're one of these bubble teams, you want to make sure you win your last game or two, especially depending on who you're facing. Like Wake Forest is playing Duke tonight. Massive opportunity for them to leap themselves back into the conversation. It won't happen, but an opportunity nonetheless. But we're also talking, if you're still on the bubble at this point, you're probably going to have to do something in your conference tournament as well. Doesn't mean you have to make a run to the final, but you probably can't get bounced in the first round anymore and still make the tournament unless you get lucky. Because remember, this bubble is still how it's listed pre-bid stealers. And we've talked about bid stealers, and there's several conferences out there that have the potential to wreak havoc like last season. Now, I don't know if we'll have 4, it might have even been 5 last season, stealing bids. That was a wild season. It's normally 1 or 2. But there are certainly 3 strong contenders as conferences to steal bids, specifically the Atlantic 10 and the Big West and the Missouri Valley. Those 3 conferences, with Drake looking secure, VCU looking secure, and Drake, I said Drake, VCU, and UC San Diego, all looking secure. But those teams can definitely lose their conference opponents in a tournament setting. So nobody on the bubble should feel safe.
Yeah.
But that's the fun.
Yeah, it is. It is the fun. And that's also what makes these conference tournaments so great, because it's not just the automatic bids that you get from some of the smaller conferences, especially like some of the teams that, a 4 or 5 or 6 seed that just makes waves in their tournament. That I love those stories too. It's just fun watching them, and then get to watch them probably get plastered by the 1 seed eventually, but worth it. It's worth the run in conference tournament play, and worth getting to watch them play in the first 4. I do have to draw our attention, speaking of conference tournaments, and then we'll move on. The Sun Belt. Have we talked about the Sun Belt on the show? I know we've talked about it with just the 3 of us. It is the dumbest. If you haven't looked, go right now. Well, not if you're driving. Drive like a normal, safe human person. Please do that. But
Get out of the left lane.
Yes, that's right. You're probably not driving fast enough anyways. It's the gauntlet of all gauntlets. Rather than just use the same format they had last year, which was a normal, sane 14-team tournament where you have, 2 first-round games, and then you move to the second round where some teams play 4 games, then the quarterfinals where teams 1 through 4 receive byes, and then a normal bracket. Nope. The first round comprises of number 12, Southern Mississippi versus number 13, Coastal Carolina. Then you get number 11, Louisiana versus number 14, ULM. Good rivalry matchup there, by the way. That's the most normal this bracket gets, because then every step of the way, the winner plays a higher seed. So it is a ladder. So basically, let me put it this way. If our beloved Chanticleers of Coastal Carolina want to win the Sun Belt as the 13 seed, they would have to beat number 12 Southern Mississippi, number 9 Georgia Southern, number 8 Georgia State, number 5 Marshall, number 4 Arkansas State, number 1 South Alabama, and then someone in the championship game. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games, 7 wins in 7 days is what it takes. And I want it desperately. It's an insane format. Insane.
And how many days, Aaron?
7 days this thing lasts.
Dude, they don't take breaks.
Nope. 7
you
straight
get a day.
days. Yeah.
What do you need more?
Yeah.
I think the West Coast Conference at least gives you like a little bit more of a break.
Not this year.
Week.
Not this year. And now the West Coast, because they've added 2 teams, it's not much better. If you're Pacific, the Tigers.
Oh, they're the OG at this, though.
Yeah, they are. Correct. Yeah, the West Coast probably has a trademark on this. If you're the Pacific Tigers, you've got to beat the 7 seed Loyola Marymount, then 6 seed Washington State, then San Francisco, then Gonzaga, and then probably St. Mary's. So that's a mere 6 games in 6 days for Pacific. We're talking 7 games. It's insane. Now, they do this to basically protect their top seeds, to give them a better chance of making March Madness. I kind of get it. It's still lame because, well, I don't know. It's either the coolest thing ever or the dumbest thing ever, and I can't decide.
It's lame.
I think it's lame.
Lame.
They
Unless
don't need to get the top
ULM
seeds
Coastal
that
Carolina,
high.
Then
Yes,
the
yeah.
greatest.
Then it's amazing.
Right. Correct.
But in all reality, though, that's almost physiologically impossible. Like that's the thing. We're no longer making it like, well, that's pretty unlikely because it's the 1 seed and it's like, you know, the worst team in the conference. They're probably not going to win. But then you're saying, well, okay, that's because of skill on the court. That's because of talent. Now it's almost like you physically will not be able to beat that team because you'll be so exhausted that you'll have nothing left to be able to do that. So that kind of stinks. Like, and we're talking about the very bottom of the conference. Those middling teams are usually, honestly, the ones who surprise you and win the conference. Like usually the 4, 5, maybe even 6 seed. And sometimes they even win in the NCAA tournament. That happens all the time.
Yeah.
Like UMBC, like they weren't the top seed in their tournament when I think they were like the 3 or 4 and they knocked off Vermont and ended up winning their conference tournament. And obviously they beat Virginia.
Yeah.
So like I'm a little annoyed by the disservice it does to those teams because these conferences, like the purpose of the Sun Belt doing this is to try to reward their best teams and get them in the tournament so that they can get a higher seed and more likely that they win and progress to the next round because the whole conference gets more money when that happens. If you're not familiar with how the NCAA tournament and money works.
Yep.
So that's the purpose. I understand that, but I love it when a 4 or 5 seed goes through, and they're usually just as capable as winning that first round matchup. So I'm more of annoyed by that. You know, like we're going to probably see a lot more 1 and 2 seeds. If more conferences start doing this, we'll see a lot more 1s and 2s actually winning their conference tournaments than usual.
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, to that point, the best story in the tournament last year was arguably Oakland. And the Oakland Golden Grizzlies. Oh, you know what? I take it back. They were number 1 in the Horizon League. Never mind. Ignore that point. They were number 1. But you're right. UMBC was not.
Narrative ruined.
Longwood, I think, made the tournament as like a 4 seed in the Big South. That was a lot of fun. So it happens. It happens every so often. One more basketball note, not college basketball related, but actually NBA related, because we just feel like we had to add this note in because of how absurd and ludicrous it is.
Hey, Aaron, we already talked about the Luka trade. Yeah.
Well, sorry, Josh. We're sort of talking about it again, only because Johnny and I were actually talking about this. We joke that we're wrong all the time, and we are a decent bit. However, we're pretty darn correct about the NBA, or at least we have a very good track record of it. The 3 of us immediately jumped on this Phoenix Suns super team of Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and Bradley Beal. They're probably not even making the play-in tournament at this point. So, like, that was a disaster. We called the Brooklyn Nets back when that big 3 got together. We're like, that's dumb. That's not going to work.
Genius for that one.
Yeah, we weren't falling for the Philadelphia 76ers signing Paul George, doing all that. In fact, we actually said the 76ers should have traded Joel Embiid at the beginning of this season, and I bet they wish they did. So we have largely been correct on our NBA thoughts. Early signs are pointing to us being wrong about the Lakers, because the Lakers have added Luka, and we thought they may be worse in the short term, and there is still time for that, but at least right now they are playing really, really well. Luka's starting to get his footing. Obviously, we knew that was going to take some time with the injury and given how much time he had missed. The other part of this equation is LeBron and how he's playing at the age of 40.
Screw this guy in the best way.
Yeah, let me read you his stat line from his last MVP season. Okay? And I believe this is as a member of the Heat. I don't know.
The Heat.
Yeah.
2012 to 2013 season. We're talking 12 years ago.
Yeah.
12.
26.8 points per game, 8 rebounds a game, 7.3 assists per game, and good shooting across the board. This season, at age 40, 26.4 points per game, more rebounds, 8.2, more assists, 8.3, and better shooting from the 3, and basically the same shooting from the field and from free throws. Like, it's unbelievable It's stupid. It is stupid.
He's playing with guys who were born after he started.
Yes. Literally.
Oh, that's been
And better
happening
than
for a
them.
while now.
Yeah,
That's,
Oh man.
hate this.
but that's
good way.
I mean, that's part of the biggest reason, though. It's like, it's not like LeBron obviously was having a bad season before the Luka trade. No, he was having an outstanding season. But it does seem like it reinvigorated him even more.
Yeah.
Because, to be honest, last night aside, because Luka played very well last night, he started to look a little bit more himself against the Clippers. But LeBron has almost upped it the last 10 games or so. For him, I think it's reinvigorated him. The Lakers, after last night, are now the 2 seed in the West.
Yep.
I mean, just remarkable. You know, his stats are literally slightly better overall than they were 12 years ago, which is madness. You know, they normally say for a guy when it comes to athletic peak, it's usually about like that 27, 28, 29 like area. You know, you've been in it long enough that your head's finally there and matured enough, and your body's ready to take it too, and it hasn't started deteriorating yet. Like, and the fact that he's literally doing better 12 years later, like, is ridiculous. And he has great self-awareness. The man paces himself really, really well. His defense, you know, that doesn't show on the stat line as much. His defense has been excellent. I think that's part of what we had questions about when it comes to the basketball, just on the court. Anthony Davis erased many defensive mistakes by the Lakers because he's such a good shot blocker. He's a great, presence in the post, and they haven't missed him so far. Now, in certain matchups that, just having Jackson Hayes is not going to be the best, but Luka's even playing pretty good defense. So JJ Redick gets a lot of credit for that. Like, he's the coach. He's getting them to do all of that. LeBron's playing good defense. Luka's playing good enough. And, Luka's not small. That's the one thing about the Lakers, too. Like, they might not have a lot of
no one
bigs,
has ever said he's small.
but they don't have a, like, Damian Lillard or a Steph Curry sized guard that it's like, oh man, like, they physically can't really keep up and guard these guys. It's usually, man, our guys don't try hard. 80% of defense is effort. That in basketball, like that's just the truth of it.
Yeah.
So the guys are buying in. There's a lot of effort. They're playing fantastic. And I think we didn't say like, oh man, it won't work. We're just like, man, it'll take time. It has not taken any time. So, and Luka's, again, he's just kind of now getting comfortable. Josh, maybe you have some take on this too, because like I know Dirk in an interview kind of said how hurt like Luka has been by the whole trade and everything. And like I think there's still even like a getting over the trade for Luka. Forget about like getting it past the hamstring injury, like he's still getting into shape physically, but I think probably mentally and emotionally, he's maybe 70% there with the Lakers, and
absolutely,
they're playing fantastic. So it's kind of like, oh my gosh, if he figures it out.
He's enjoying the on the court stuff.
Yeah,
you can tell he's really, again, taking some time. It takes time to learn a new system, all that stuff, whatever. There is still a clear chip on his shoulder. If you saw any of the Mavs-Lakers game when they played in LA, Luka like dapped up every single Mavs player, the coaches, every staff member, stared down Nico. And then I think in that post-game interview, he was still talking about how like it was still weird for him. So specifically with that one, it was going to bring up memories. No one knew this was going to happen. You can't change the NBA schedule. It was just going to happen that way. But I think for a while, especially since there just is more coming out where there's more reports saying that Nico was trying to find any excuse necessary to move on from Luka by the summer, that there was these secret, I don't know how substantiated these claims are, that Luka that Luka's drinking and partying habits were unsavory for the organization, which one would not be consistent with how they've treated stars like Dirk in the past. That was
Right.
previous ownership. There's a good chance that this current ownership is unaware of the existence of Dirk based on an interview that was given a week or two ago. I'm not joking. There was like a discussion of like the top 5 Mavs players all time, and Dirk wasn't on the list. It's like this weird thing that I am still developing and trying to figure out how to best communicate. But yeah, there's this energy that I think right now means that Luka is still in most all these interviews. You can still see there seems to be shell shock is probably not the appropriate
that's a
word
good
for
term.
at this stage.
It was
but
early.
He's coming down. Exactly. He's
Yeah.
coming down from it still.
Yeah. I think that's definitely fair. Well, I mean, we'll see how this
Also,
goes.
he did not lose weight in 2 weeks. That was camera angles. Please.
James Harden effect.
Everyone just learns about lenses and
man.
how aperture works.
He's also just like, guys, it's a hamstring injury. Like, I know they've made a big deal about his weight and stuff in Dallas, but like, the only way to heal is to not do anything.
Right.
Like, there was no way for him to stay like in shape. So like, this would be taking anyone many weeks to
It takes a
feel
sec.
good
Yeah.
about yourself back on the basketball court. So again, it's astonishing that they're playing this well currently.
Oh,
But I think the West and the playoffs is really going to just be about matchups.
Yeah. And
It-
because
it's just
right now the
where you
Lakers
get
have
put
the
is gonna
2
be
seed,
big.
you avoid Denver, which is the matchup you don't want.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
That's the bit. That's the big. Well, actually, I don't know. Like maybe they want Denver this time.
I
but-
doubt it, but maybe.
But like, I actually think like OKC is a if Hardenstein and Holmgren are both healthy, is a terrible matchup for the Lakers. So if you can stay in the 2-3 spot, at least you're avoiding them until potentially the conference finals. And at that point, you play who you have to play.
Right.
But the West, it'll be super intriguing to see how the seeds lay out, because I think matchup will be everything out West. With who ends up advancing and getting to the NBA Finals.
Yeah, no doubt. Should be fun.
Sometimes the guys make picks based on their vast knowledge of sports. Sometimes they make picks based on vibes.
To me, North Florida is either losing their first game against Austin P by 1 billion, or they're winning the Atlantic Sun and making a Sweet 16 run, and there's no in between.
There's no in between.
Either way, they're probably going to be wrong. It's time for Picks of the Week.
What if I told you that bit was recorded a while ago and that North Florida lost to Austin P by 1 billion last night in the Atlantic Sun? Yeah, North Florida, the Birds of Trey, had an 18-point lead in the first half and lost by 22. 22.
You can't do that.
Yep.
Not ideal.
You can't win with that.
So that's not what we're picking. We did pick the Atlantic Sun tournament last week, though. There's nothing really to report other than, Josh, I am sorry, the Stetson Hatters were the victims
I
of
could
the
have
first
sworn it was a
round
lock.
upsets. Yeah. Yeah, the 8 seed, no, that was the 9. They were the 9 seed. They lost to the 10 seed Central Arkansas, who had a freshman center, go out for 36 points. So the Bears moving on to play the number
have
1
that.
seed Lipscomb, or as we like to call them on this show, Lipscomb. They play tonight. Actually, they're playing right now. So go Lipscomb. Some more points there, maybe. Last week also, how about this? The Philadelphia Union
Yeah.
4-1 over FC Cincinnati. What happened to FC Cincinnati? Oh my. So Josh
Oh,
and I,
darn.
with our 2 collective MLS brain cells, we put them together and we came up with a victory. So we got points there. So our current scoreboard reads myself with 7 points, Josh with 6, and Johnny with 5, which means that we, Josh, are 1 step closer to the illustrious trophy that we are.
Your did it.
Yep. If you missed it, it's a misshapen star with the words "Your did it," and that's what we're going for. Winner of Picks of the Week gets that trophy, and will must cherish it appropriately.
The Waffle House dream is slipping away slowly.
I know. Well, maybe that should be the loser punishment.
Johnny, you have vacation hours. You can go to a Birmingham, Alabama.
No, I
based
have to
Waffle House.
win based on principle. It's a victory.
Yes. Yeah, you go to the 3.5 star rated Waffle House in Birmingham, Alabama, out of principle. I'm so sorry. I misspoke.
Yes.
This is a
Don't you
man
degrade Waffle
of
House?
virtues. I'm not.
You
knocking
can't win
Waffle House.
you can't win a national championship in college football unless you have a multitude of Waffle Houses in your state. This is how odds should be set for betting for the national championship.
That's right. That's right. Well, there's a lot happening in sports this week. You've got spring training in baseball. You've got NBA. You've got.
Don't make me look up the number of Waffle Houses in Ohio. Oh, actually, no. You know what? I say that.
There's a
Versus
lot.
Indiana. I bet you we have it over
We
Indiana.
got a lot. We
have
are
more-
over Indiana. No, we do well.
We have to be over that.
We do well.
Although I'm certain we could not clear. I'm sure Tennessee clears us as far as Waffle Houses are concerned. But that's okay. We clear them as far as points are concerned. Anyway, Aaron, you were going to do something serious.
No, not really. Because look, there's a lot happening, right? There's NBA final kind of push to the playoffs. Same thing with the NHL, Major League Baseball, spring training, college baseball is here. Obviously, there's lots of stuff happening in college basketball. Major League Soccer has started. That's what we picked last week. So we considered all of our options, and we decided upon none of those things. Johnny, Mr. Birthday Boy, tell the people what we're picking this week, because this is excellent.
So because I'm chronically online, unfortunately, realized that while we were, at Fan Fest, I noticed, or maybe it was on a ride there, I don't know. It was on that Saturday, that the Iditarod was starting today, as in Monday the 3rd. And I said, that's too perfect. That's a sign. We have to pick the winning sled team of the Iditarod. So I cannot wait you can live stream it online. I believe it is free.
I've been doing that this whole
You just
show.
Google.
Haven't heard a thing you guys
Yes.
have said.
So I'm like, it's awesome. Like it starts in, I believe it starts in Fairbanks. And then it goes all the way to Nome, Alaska. So they are currently over 4 hours into the race right now. We have not cheated. So we don't know who's in the lead. Also, they have not even reached any of the checkpoints yet, I don't think. So we really couldn't cheat anyway, unless we were actually watching the live stream. So we are going to pick. We wanted to pick the dogs, but there's like 16 dogs on the sled team, so they don't list their dogs' names, unfortunately.
Sad.
But we are picking the mushers. So we will be doing that. I am picking Jason Mackey, and I'm picking him because this dude is rugged and experienced. He's from Alaska. He's been racing dogs for 48 years.
Oh.
Like, he's been racing since he was 6 with his dad. I'm picking this dude to win the Iditarod. Jason, don't let me down, man. Don't let me down.
Johnny, I went with the same strategy. I look because on their website they have pictures of all of these folks, and I went with the most rugged-looking person, and I thought that was Nicholas Pettit. So that is my pick. I did not do any research on him. I don't know how long he's been racing, but he looked like the kind of person that if he wasn't in this event, he would just be living in the woods in Alaska, like no house, probably not even a cabin, just in a tent somewhere. Maybe just a single
Igloo.
tarp. Yeah, igloo, sure.
Just an igloo and 16 dogs.
Yep, that's right. I will also
Sounds
say,
like a good life, honestly.
yeah, you said mushers. I think the plural of musher is mooshai, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah. Guys, I was originally going with your strategy, and I think your strategy is a solid strategy. I was looking for the tough guys, and then I went, well, let me see if I can pick an outsider, someone who maybe is from the States, from the lower 48.
Oh.
And see if I can pick someone who is the closest to Texas. And then all of that went out the window when I saw the name Quince Mountain. Quince Mountain is my pick.
That's outstanding.
He's from Mountain, Wisconsin. He does look, if you look at his picture, he does look like a sturdy gentleman. I do trust him with 16 dogs in the middle of the tundra. But this biography is something that is beautiful. Mushing is something I never expected to do. It was my wife's hobby before we married, and I gave it a try once just for fun. Of course, I was hooked.
As one does.
As one does. This man lives my mantra of no thoughts, only vibes.
Yes.
Our dogs are courageous and strong, smart, curious, and fun as all get outs. I can only hope that some of what they have rubs off on me.
Aw.
How
Oh, I
sweet.
love that.
Oh,
See, his sponsors are hashtag ugly dogs, among other things, but hashtag ugly dogs.
Wow.
Ugly dogs are still dogs. And the Aleutian Comedy School.
Oh,
See,
they have a comedy school in the Aleutian Islands.
yes,
Interesting.
You never knew.
Oh, wow.
So I'm going with Quince Mountain. I think this is his first time. First time on the Iditarod.
Josh,
Dude, I hope I hope he wins.
I do too. You've had some locks in the past, Josh. Nothing like this. This is throw the key away kind of lock of a pick.
Yeah, guaranteeing it, Josh? Guaranteed?
No, I don't. There's no such thing as a Josh guarantee.
Just me, huh? Just me.
This,
That's great. I'm very excited about this. Johnny, do we know when this ends? Because I know this is like this covers over 1,000 miles.
Oh, yeah. Let me find out real quick. The Iditarod ends. Well, so they can't say exactly when it ends.
Okay, fair enough.
Because it's like a super long race. But it typically takes let's see, what does it typically take? So yeah, it's 938 miles or 1,500 kilometers for our metric system friends. It's from Anchorage to Nome. I misspoke earlier. And how long does it normally take? It normally takes 8 to 15 days to complete. Wow, that's a wide range.
Wow. Yeah, that is a really well. I did see that they had some complications because they didn't have enough snow in Alaska for this race.
Oh my gosh.
Which that opens up a discussion on our other podcast. But anyways,
Freaking
where we talk about the best times.
protect
that
the
we
ice,
had at
man.
Mad River
Protect
Mountain.
that ice.
right.
Protect the ice.
Exactly, Josh.
How many snow machines can we ship from Ohio to Alaska?
Oh no. Oh no.
I will say this: the fasting winning time was in 2017 by Mitch Seavey, who
Oh,
I
no
think
way.
is competing in this.
Uh-oh.
darn it.
Oh, that was my original pick. Darn it.
No, it's all the dogs. It's all about the dogs. It's all about the
No,
dogs.
it's too
I'm not
late.
sure
It's
just
too late
there.
anyway. But he finished in 8 days, 3 hours, 40 minutes, and 13 seconds. So, like, the 8
This'll be a
days is
huge project.
unlikely. Like, and obviously it says like weather conditions is a big deal, like how the dogs fare and stuff. So, like, that's why it's a pretty wide range. I'm sure it was probably really good conditions for the 8
If-
days and stuff. So,
If
It-
no snow,
probably like 10 days.
if no snow, can I just call an Uber, like an Uber X, like one of the big ones, and put all the dogs in the back? Exactly.
I love it.
Then it becomes the Baja 500,
Oh,
or that one scene in The Office where
They'd have the best
they almost
time.
took a cab for the 5K.
that's right. 5,000 miles.
The guys spent hours scrolling social media, and they found some pretty dumb stuff. Now they want to talk to you about it.
The real ones know that we would call it ooey pooey.
Ooey pooey.
R.I.P. to ooey pooey.
Ooey pooey's the
Got you.
answer.
I didn't even need to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
never
done.
mind.
Good luck. It's time for What We're Following.
If you want some ooey pooey basketball, Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, they take on the Wright State Raiders in the Horizon League tournament. Guys, I'm here to have a conversation, and it is a collection that I want to start when I have money. So, the collection I want to start, and this was slightly inspired by Johnny and I's trip on Saturday, because yes, it was Red Wings and Blue Jackets, and that was primarily the jerseys we saw. But it's also kind of a celebration of the NHL. It's that it's not really a neutral location at all. But you have a lot of hockey fans that are just there to see this event. Our friend Noah, who does a lot of outstanding writing for us on fifthandgoalsports.com, was there, and he's a Rangers fan, and he was just there to check it out. We got to say hi to him, which was great. So there was several people like that. So we saw some wild jerseys. We saw, well, okay, that was the wrong phrase to use. We probably saw some wild jerseys, meaning Minnesota. We saw some unique jerseys kind of out of the box. We saw multiple Vancouver Canucks like throwbacks. We saw Hartford Whalers. I mean, we were all over the board.
Josh, there were a couple of jerseys that reminded us of your cup.
Yes. Not that one.
Not that cup.
Not that cup. The cup that you dressed as in a previous
Yes.
era.
If you have that sweater.
Oh yeah, it's somewhere.
Yes. So that was great. So, but it got me thinking that if I just had a lot of money left over and just was trying to spend frivolously, I think a great collection would be obscure jerseys. And I don't mean like throwback, like, I don't know, like throwback Detroit Lions jersey. That's cool. I want that now, and I want it so I can like just wear it and 2 games and stuff. No, I mean like education reform Markieff Morris Lakers in number 88 jersey, or like Carmelo Anthony Hawks jersey, or what I just found online. Guys, did you know? Now, don't leave the show when I say this and start typing in. Stay with me here. Did you know an MLB Shop has a White Sox Andrew Benintendi jersey for $394?
Who's spending that on it?
On Andrew Benintendi.
They should pay the person
more-
$300
to
to take it.
Correct.
No, he's getting paid a crap ton of money to do nothing. To do nothing. You know how they did the report cards, Aaron?
Oh
For
yeah.
like the NFL. Well, they also did it for baseball. And the White Sox basically all said, "Oh, the clubhouse atmosphere was great."
Which is
and you're like,
concerning.
That means that they just like they set the record, right? Like they did set the record
The
for
modern
worst team ever.
The modern era record.
Yeah, modern era worst team ever. Basically, all these guys were AAA players that were like, my gosh, I'm thrilled to be here. And guys getting overpaid so that they could get over like the minimum threshold to get your full like allotment of television revenue. Like just madness. Because if they're good players, you get angry being that bad. Apparently they're all chill.
Oh my gosh.
They're just going to work, clocking in, clocking out. Like, man, take advantage of this as long as we can. I just thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, because
Like,
these players
I thought
that are playing on the
so
field are
funny.
not getting another major league deal in their life.
Which is exactly.
And they all know
They're
it.
just like, man,
Yep.
yeah, exactly. They're all
Live in the
very
moment.
self-aware. I'm not angry with these guys.
No.
It's just funny. It's the White Sox fault.
Yeah, and the fact that the jersey is the White Sox version of like that makes it all the more
Right.
sicko. And if you buy it, you have to leave the price tag on. If you're adding to your obscure jersey collection, you leave the price tag
you
on.
keep it
This is a player in 5 years with the Red Sox had a WAR of 10.1. 2 years with the White Sox, negative 0.6. That's a batting average of
leave the price tag
0.246,
on.
which
Hey,
I realize
now
is like
don't-
league average at this point. But oof.
It's still. No, I
my
mean,
gosh.
listen, keep it, buy it. Listen, and I'm going to say this: buy now while it's low.
No, buy now while it's high.
No, because he's not coming for opening day. They're saying, "quote We'll you got to take a few swings in the next few days." So they're going to take it smart, says the manager. And so when he comes back with a vengeance, with
Right.
that beautiful energy we've all seen him to have.
Yes. His 120 home run season that he has.
Get ready for 21 home runs.
Ooh. Okay.
That's a Josh guarantee.
Actually, sorry. He had 20 last year. I insulted the man. He has 2 20 home run seasons. One of them was last year. Sorry.
Aaron, we got a Josh guarantee.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah, Josh guarantee.
Wow.
Benintendi will make
21
21 home runs.
That's what
21.
Josh said.
All right, that's got to be a new segment on the show now, starting like late March. The Andrew Benintendi home run record. And if people tuning in for the first time in July are going to just
we gotta do
be
a
so
counter.
confused.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
A Josh guarantee.
It's gonna be
counter.
the equivalent. It's gonna be the equivalent of that guy who tracked Russ's touchdowns with the Broncos with how many bathrooms his house had.
Yes.
That was the best.
Yes.
This is my version.
That was the best.
I like
Can
it.
he hit?
Oh, I
Can he-
love that.
First off, even though I feel like I can make a fist and grab, but you have to let the bone heal. Hopefully, it's less than 4 weeks.
Oh
I'm sure I'll
dear.
talk to them today. and come up
That's
with a
that's
plan.
hurting
I
the
will also
21
say,
home run season potentially if he's
If
already
he
injured.
has,
It's going to be a
if
really
he ha- if he
concentrated, high
misses
intensity
most-
part.
if he misses most of the season, this still counts
Oh yeah,
because you know what you're getting into. If he like
Oh, no,
tears his
I-
ACL and he's done, this still holds.
21 is 21.
Yeah.
Now, don't worry
21
guys.
is 21.
This ship's free. Gosh, this ship's free with code SHIP49.
Ooh, don't clip that.
Ships free
don't
with ship 49, guys. Just don't forget. So you will only be spending $394.99 plus tax. So don't worry about shipping; it's covered.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, that's nice of them.
yeah.
Really,
How
you're
do we?
losing
So
money by not
if
buying
this jersey is basically $400, are we basically saying like? I guess what we're saying is each home run's $20. Is basically what we're saying.
them. Yeah, $20 a home run.
Okay. All right.
That seems fair.
See if
I
you
gotta
can.
see what that costs on DHgate.
If DHgate's selling a White Sox Benintendi jersey, then good for them, I guess. Good for them. So that's what I'm following. By the way, listeners, if you have an obscure jersey, maybe in your collection, or there's one that you want to get, and I mean just like way out there, like obviously a player that played like 2 games for a team, that's pretty easy. Like, but someone like on Twitter was
yeah.
saying, "Oh, where's my Omar Ashiq Rockets jersey?" I'm like, that's excellent. Give me more of
Yes.
that.
All the NBA players who have the rainbow collection, all of Shaq's
True.
jerseys, all of
Dennis
that could be
Schroeder,
fun. Yeah, Schroeder.
my guy, Pistons.
Gotta love him.
They have White Sox from last year, but they don't have Benintendi.
I mean,
Actually, none of these guys played for the White Sox last year.
I was about to say, who do they have? Like
It's
Eloy Jimenez.
Yep.
Ah, good.
Oh yeah.
Yes, they do.
Lewis Robert Jr.
Yes.
Good.
Anderson.
Oh, Tim Anderson. Yeah, he wasn't there last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who died when he got punched by
Jose Ramirez.
yeah.
Yeah. What if I
We're
told you at
just
one point Tim
ended.
Anderson was like the best at like contact hitter in baseball? Anyways, that was a long time ago.
Until he was punched in that game at
Exactly.
second base.
Oh dear. I did get my ticket for opening day for the Reds though. On a more serious note, which I'm very excited about. I've never been to an opening day in Cincinnati. It's the kind of the OG opening day that used to, back when baseball knew what the heck they were doing, used to be the opening day for Major League Baseball. So as we get nearer, don't worry, baseball rants are here, but not today. Just Andrew Benintendi.
I have lots of things, and that's okay because I'm going to move through them quickly. First, a few straight to jails. That way we can get them over with. We can get the unpleasantness over with. One, we lost the poop game.
Oh, I know.
These
Oh,
score bugs.
I thought we were talking about the Florida State guy again for a sec, but no.
No.
Okay, I know what you mean.
No, he's still at large.
Yeah, he is.
Those of you who
yeah,
didn't
he
know,
is.
we used to on I forget which network carried this. It doesn't matter because they're all going to jail for this.
NBC is your answer. Josh.
NBC. Okay, I'd like to send them to jail anyway. For making me like watch Notre Dame games exclusively on Peacock. But
Fair enough.
we used to have Pirates Phillies, and there's a time, in every game, I would say, in most games, where the score is 0-0. And we had this beautiful opportunity, this rare moment of pure unadulterated joy when you could see P, the stylized P for the Pittsburgh Pirates, 0. And then mirrored on the other side of the little score bug, 0, because again, this is the beginning of the game, and the stylized P for the Philadelphia Phillies. POOP. And for just a few innings, sometimes just even a few pitches, the world was right.
People order our patties.
Yes.
They do. And that's from what we can tell, because it's not technically the opening. We're not in the regular season yet, but we've seen the score bugs. And NBC is going to the abbreviation of the city. And no longer mirroring the score. So even if it were, it'd be Popo the other way, which I think would be okay. I'd be upset, but it would be okay.
Right,
Be okay.
right.
But we're not even getting that.
Yeah.
We're getting, I mean, am I, as an act of protest, going to come in every week now and find the best funny word that I can create out of the 0-0 score graphic? Yes. Baltimore, Philadelphia. Ballo Philo. It's not that funny, but I'm getting there.
Yeah. You're onto something.
There's something there. 2. I'm going to give 4 specific straight to jails to the 4 anonymous Oscar voters.
Oh, yes. Correct,
who
Josh.
said, quote, they did not watch Dune Part 2 and abstained from ranking it on their Best Picture ballot. It was up for nominations this year. Quote, the first Dune I couldn't get through. I'm not rushing for another 3 hours of Dune. And here's the thing. I'm not saying Dune is for everybody. Dune isn't for everybody. You know what else isn't for everybody? Most of the Best Picture nominees. All right? It's kind of the thing. It's a barely watchable art piece that makes you think. And there's nothing wrong with that. I have a lot of cinemaphiles in my life, and I know they love these Wes Anderson style, everybody's speaking dialogue in such an abstract way movies. It's okay. I'm going to watch Megalomania at some point. Or Megalopolis, sorry. Well, Megalopolis at some point, I promise. All right? I want to watch But Dune's good. It's fine. It's not the worst 3 hours. I liked it. Please. Also, and thank you, Johnny, it's your job.
It's your job
to watch bad movies because you get paid so much more than we do.
It's like when AP voters are like clearly submitted their ballot before the West Coast games like finish. Like, dude, you don't have to be an AP voter. You don't have to be an Oscar voter.
Yeah.
Like,
Give it up. It's
let
okay.
someone
There's no
else
shame.
do it then. Like, this is your job. And also, you're cowards for not putting your name on it.
Yes. Oh, say it with your chest. Come on.
Yeah.
Finally.
You have a hot take? Put it out there.
Own it. You got to frame it correctly, and people will maybe they still won't admire you, but you can at least have the pride and the honor of saying it with your full chest. Speaking of maybe experiencing things with your full chest, welcome to Chess Heads.
Woo!
We are back, baby. I know we already did one this calendar year and this season, but we are back again, guys. I don't know if this was pre-show or during the show. Whenever Johnny made a quick jab about racing not being a sport, what if because sometimes all the insults just kind of roll together, and again, it's your birthday, so I'm not gonna let you catch crap. But I do propose a modification. Would you call racing a sport if it was 76 Nissan Altimas racing on 1/3/8 mile track?
You know what, Josh? I just had an epiphany.
Oh boy. He's wise now, folks. Look out.
So
Another
when
year
we're-
older, he's wise.
When we watch like the Kentucky Derby,
Yeah.
are we in awe of the riders or the horses?
Hey, Johnny, who suggested
The answer is the horses.
the horses. So the horse is the athlete, not the rider. So I'll make this modification to motor racing. The car is the athlete.
Oh, of course.
Not the driver. So
For the
if you
Ultima
can agree, so the
600,
Nissan all
for the
are the
specific-
athletes,
for the
not the
specific-
drivers.
For the specific case of the Ultima 600, which was held about last week, I will cede for that.
No, in general. I'll
Nope,
agree with
nope,
you. No, this is
nope.
our compromise.
This field-
I will
no, the
never
compromise
say
for this-
racing is not a sport again if you can agree that the athletes are the vehicles.
Now, I will
Sometimes
also
the vehicles
say-
are horses, sometimes they're
Now again, we just at your proposal and by your own explicit explanation of why we were picking what we were picking, just said we're picking the Iditarod.
no, they didn't
and
list dogs.
specifically picking the mushers. Sorry, the
Because they enlisted
Mouchés.
dogs. Mushai. Mushai.
Yes.
Mushai.
Mouchés,
Sorry.
yes.
I apologize.
Hopefully that's
I
not
knew
like
it was- I
some
knew it was
bad
wrong
word in
coming out,
another
but-
language.
Oh, I hope it is.
Please. Why does
No,
why did no one watch
Josh,
this episode?
no,
They got
no,
shadow
hold
bans
on.
in 19 countries.
Hold on now. We would have picked by dog if they had listed the dogs.
Yes.
We
Absolutely.
absolutely would have
No.
picked by the dogs. They just didn't
Yes,
tell.
but you had a
we had no way
compromise
of
here.
knowing.
You already have an internal compromise in your heart and your soul, where you understand that there is this beautiful what makes the Iditarod, what makes the Derby, what makes the others so beautiful is that it is this. It is not just the driver, the rider. It is not just the jockey. It's not just.
No, it's not them at all. One could argue the sled.
Could one
is the
argue that
athlete.
golf is
Not- not-
simply,
but
is
not the
simply the
musher.
driver? Could you say that golf is simply the driver and not the golfer? Would you argue basketball is simply the hoop? Would you argue baseball is only the bat? Would you say hockey's too hard to play because it's too fast? I know a Skip Bayless when I see one.
it's too hard.
Oh.
Oh.
Anyway, 76 Nissan Altimas raced around a 3/8 mile track. Now, if you don't have a visual representation for what that is, that's okay. Basically, this was a
Could
circle
anyone?
of Nissan Altimas. There was no gap. Sometimes you have a track where there's like 20 cars and then you like wait for a sec. If you've ever been to a race, you just kind of sit there and wait for the cars to come back. No, don't worry. When it's 76 Nissan Altimas on one track, you're always seeing a Nissan Altima.
How
The
would you
rules-
know who's in first?
I don't know if that was the point of this race, Johnny.
Okay.
Well, what's the point of any race then, Josh?
What's the point?
Yeah, that's true. It's definitely not a sport if there's not a winner.
Right.
Jeez.
I mean, there were like a row of the first four cars. Like,
A shared win, also known as a tie.
That's right.
oh, it looks like they did have. I think they put like some trackers or something in. It looks like they televised this. By the way, don't you worry.
Oh, thank goodness. Is
Cletus
this on YouTube?
McFarland's, if you're familiar with
I'm looking it
Cletus,
up.
I believe so. Cletus McFarland's, this is his track that he owns. If you know him, he's an auto YouTuber. Does a lot of fun things with cars and owns his own little mini track. Not mini track, but 3/8 track. And I've seen a lot of videos from this track. It is on my bucket list. I don't know where it is, but it is. in
Attention,
fact,
everyone. There is
on
an
my bucket
extremely
list. Nissan Altimas are known for being the most chaotic of all cars, at least in Dallas. I do play a
Oh.
game every day on my commute, and it is
No
what is
idea.
this Nissan Altima in front of me about to do. I always lose. But it was fantastic. No crashes for the first lap or two. And then it was just exclusively crashes.
And by the way, the cars were numbered, so there were
Yes.
winners, I think.
Yeah.
But there's
track it that
there's a
way.
YouTube video that already has a 1.7 million views on this, so it's out there. You can watch it.
The Ultima, and here we could have entered this if we had known.
Hmm.
We 100% could have entered this because you know what you needed. Any year Nissan Altima. I'm reading directly from the PDF that they made of the rules. Any year Nissan Altima. All parts must remain stock as supplied by the manufacturer. Literally, don't touch it. You can use a stock seat belt and a stock seat. You just have to bring a helmet. Although with all the crashing,
That seems
please,
like a bad
probably
idea.
I would. Extra straps on the fuel tank are recommended because again, crashing. Suspension must be stock. Wheels and tires must be stock and DOT rated. No racing tires.
Oh my gosh.
Steering must remain stock.
This is
have to
how all
wear the-
racing should be.
Yes.
True.
Oh, this
This
guy's
is
got a
how
Lightning
racing
McQueen
is.
paint job. Good for that
See,
guy. That's a
it's
waste of money,
fun.
but good for that guy. Not as big of a waste as Andrew
Listen,
Benintendi. but-
You can not as big
Sorry.
No one's a bigger waste.
You can go get any Nissan Altima in any condition for $500 at any junkyard. They're too because they keep getting crashed. So next time we do this, or next time they do this, because this looked like a big hit, we'll combine with all of the ad revenue we will have most certainly made at that point,
Right.
and we'll buy a Nissan Altima. And because I brought it up, I'll race it.
I mean, you would be the best racer of the three of us. I don't think there's any like.
Or we put Johnny,
debate.
or hear me out. We put Johnny in to force him to admit that racing is a sport.
No, he would do some dumb protest and not even.
If
Hit
the,
the gas pedal.
car is the athlete, then yes.
So could the car? You want me to pull out my Aquinas? You want me to pull out my Aristotle? We want to talk about the body versus the physical versus the spiritual.
The
What
driver's
moves
the
mover,
equivalent of
what
a
the initial
coach.
move is. A coach that physically turns on the vehicle, physically shifts it in the gear and drives it.
Josh,
See,
all
we're
I know is
talking
I'm
about the
watching
body.
this.
We're talking about mind-body dualism. Plato talked about this back in the day. All right, we're gonna get. You want to talk?
What
Do I finally
podcast
get the-
are we in now?
We're in the podcast that I wanted.
Josh, I take
one
your
that Josh- I was
Plato
gonna
and
say the one Josh is-
Aristotle, and I
John
raise you
Calvin
a
would say
car
the
that was.
soul is nobler than the body. In fact, the very soul, which in this case would be the driver, being the nobler of the two, the steed has no direction if there is no one to move the steed in that direction. Johnny, you're not going to win this battle. I'm convincing myself. We started
I
this as a
tried to
joke.
co-
I am convincing myself all the more that
I tried to
this
compromise.
is a
That's what was
beautiful
happening. I was trying to
There is no
compromise.
compromising with
Okay,
me.
then it's not a sport. Sorry, it's just not a sport.
Josh,
Hey,
I
that's
take.
all right because you know what? This is still my podcast. This is still Chess Heads.
Well, that's
so-
true. We are inside your podcast. I take though your Aristotle and your Pluto, and I raise you a car that was hemorrhaging
okay.
gas so badly they had to flip it upside down so they could clean off the surface, so there wasn't a ginormous fire that happened in the middle of this race.
Yes,
Beautiful.
Yeah.
it's beautiful.
And
I mean, wow,
sometimes-
this really
listen,
got out of hand.
Oh, absolutely, it did.
Wow,
It's
this is getting worse the longer I
76
watch.
Nissan Altimas. This is right. It is.
Watching this and then watching a sled race is kind of a whiplash. Honestly, the way these people are driving, I think the sled would win, and there's no snow.
Sled.
Yeah.
Sled.
Any more, Josh?
I think that's it. I think that's it.
So I'm not really following anything this week because
Oh,
it's
also
been
a year
chaotic
ago.
week.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I thought for some reason I forgot about you. It's all right. It's also the 1 year anniversary. 1 year anniversary of the Willy Wonka of the Willie's chocolate experience.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they did it on my birthday. I didn't realize
well,
that.
as of February 24th,
I really
but I
missed
forgot
out.
about that.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay. Well, anyway, some people know me as a bad luck charm when I attend sporting events. However, I am not, and it has been proven even more so over the last week. If you include overtime losses as ties in hockey, which they kind of are, I wouldn't necessarily. I now am at 500 with my record with the Blue Jackets, which means every single one of my teams whose games I attend has a winning record, except the Cincinnati Reds, which I might remind you guys, I am 5-26 when I attend. But every other team is not even like, I know the Blue Jackets are just now like getting there, but everybody else is well above. And we're talking 4, 5, 6 games above 500 at a minimum. So I am actually a very good luck charm for my teams. The Cincinnati Reds are just that awful that they have tarnished my standing in the sports fandom community with all of their losing.
Right.
And 5 of those wins, by the way, there's 5 wins total. 3 of them were in extra innings. One of them
Jeez.
16 innings. So, yes.
Johnny, just
Every
don't
other team,
go
you
in
want me
April.
there.
Don't go in April. Let the Reds see if they're good or not. If they're bad, then just finish them off.
But then I won't be able to go at all if they are good.
Well,
No, go to White
correct.
Sox games and watch Benintendi hit all 21 of his home runs.
Maybe
True.
it'd be a reverse jinx for the White Sox. Like,
Oh,
Oh, have we?
yeah.
but they're more fun being bad. We did talk about, me and Aaron talked about this. We've talked about it on the show a little bit. There's certain teams that have done nothing to us that are objectively hilarious to watch
Right.
suffer. The New
That's
York
fair.
Jets,
Yep,
the LA
amen.
Clippers,
Yep.
honestly, the Chicago White Sox at this point, yeah, like
Mhm.
kind of. Texas A&M.
Mhm.
Those are the main
I
ones.
have some animosity. But
Toronto Maple Leafs, Dallas Cowboys. They're both the same team.
Yeah.
Cowboys.
Yeah.
I feel like people do hate the Cowboys because of the fans, but there's not
Yeah,
really
yeah.
an on-field reason to hate them unless you're
No.
older and you experience them actually beating your team. Like, for the most part, people just hate the Cowboys because they're annoying.
Yeah.
Like, not because of any on-the-field results. So, like, I don't know. Those teams are objectively really funny to see suffer. And, like, you're like, why? And you're like, I don't know. It's just really funny to see them lose. Like, they've never done anything. But yeah, White Sox might need to be added to that list.
Yeah. Yeah, it's bad there. I mean, it's so bad that they need you to spend $400 on Andrew Benintendi. Good news, though, if you wear the jersey to the stadium, the stream will still be blacked out on the televisions inside the stadium. So don't worry.
They're the only. They're probably
Or you
the only
could
ones
get
that still stick with
shot.
Bally Sports.
Wow, that too.
Remember that, Aaron? You
No.
could get shot.
I
The
don't.
stray bullet that hit somebody in the stadium
Really?
a couple years ago.
Oh, I
yeah.
missed that. Wow.
And they kept playing.
Well, of course.
Just like Teddy Roosevelt.
They just kept playing the game.
That's right.
They didn't know where the bullet came from or anything. They kept playing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, certainly not from the bullpen because they can't aim.
They would have missed
Yeah.
the whole crowd.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, how does one? You know what? I know how one ends the show after something like that.
Perfect.
Action statement.
That's not where I was going.
Oh.
But sure. What's our action statement?
No, I was asking.
Buy
you.
the
Josh,
Andrew
what do you got?
Benintendi
Guys,
jersey.
Action
Go ahead.
statement. Action statement. The
Yes.
next race for the Altima 600 is in October.
Oh.
Registration will be opening soon. I'm gonna figure out where this is.
Yep. Never mind. Don't spend your Andrew Benintendi money. Buy a Nissan Altima.
No.
Yes.
If
Not
I
a ticket.
win-
Buy a Nissan Ultimate and enter in the race.
Yes.
Or if you have a Nissan Ultimate. Go ahead.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
do
but
actually
Nissan
have a
Altima
way
you
to
do
end
not
the
like.
show. And it is our beloved Utagurv, the Vaqueros. Because while I don't want this to be the case, this could be the last show this season that Utagurv is playing. Now, I think they're going to do fine in the Southland. They are playing right now against Southeastern. It's senior night at home in Utagurv Fieldhouse in Edinburgh, Texas.
Yeah.
But we just hope Utagurv has a great time in the conference tournament in the Southland. I don't know if they've locked up their seed already. They are 15-15 as a team overall. They're 7-12 in conference. So they've got their work cut out for them, but I believe, and we believe in
Yes, we do.
Utagurv.
Gotta
So-
believe in something.
Gotta believe in something. Go Utagurv. And listeners, probably go cleanse yourself of this show. Goodbye. And thanks for being here. All right.